Thank you everyone for being here today. My name is Heather Miller. I'm a program coordinator here at the library. If you need anything, I'll be in the back of the room. I'm going to welcome to the stage Roberta. Please give her a warm Monday morning welcome.
Good morning and welcome to Monday Mornings on Main. What a fantastic program you have here. I looked at what the speakers are that are coming up, and I only hope that we can share our vision of Clearwater Farm. And I would love to participate in some of the upcoming programs. Wow, what group of individuals that you've got coming up on your future Monday mornings. I don't know how many people were at the last one, but that was a musical program. Behind me, you'll see pictures that will come through as I'm speaking. I'm not necessarily going to speak to all of the pictures that are up there, but if you do have questions on any of the photos that are up here, we'll gather those at the end of the presentation. So these are photos that my sister, Kathy Lansinger, has put together for the presentation. Thank you so much for doing that, Kathy, because now that I'm retired, technology has just gone out of my brain. I just don't need to be bothered by that anymore. So I still have resources to help me out. So I'm here on behalf of Clearwater Farm. Kathy and I are both members of Clearwater Farm, and we also volunteer at the farm. Somebody asked me previously, well, who owns the farm? I said, well, the city of Onalaska doesn't own it. It belongs to the community. We are a 501(c), which is a nonprofit. So we rely on donations from our members, from corporate sponsors, from our fundraisers. And our motto, and I'm going to get to it right away because I don't want to forget it. And if any of the pictures, this is my sister with our little lamb doing chores. Our motto when we do chores is to be smarter than a goat. Some, and sometimes we're smarter than a goat, and sometimes we're not smarter than the goat. Um, so at the farm, we do have a number of volunteers. Typically, steady volunteers, we have a group of about, I would say, 30 volunteers year round. We run the farm 365, 7 days a week, rain or shine. We are not a working farm, so we do not have cows that we're milking. We are there to, where's my little cheat sheet? Did I leave it over here? I did. Bear with me one moment. Our mission, and this is the only piece of paper I'm gonna read because I don't want to get it wrong. Our mission at the farm, which has been around for 25 years, we recently had a 25-year celebration. Our mission at Clearwater Farm was to demonstrate, teach, advocate, and the sustainable use of natural, historical, and agricultural resources. I'm gonna leave that right here. How many people are familiar with Clearwater Farm? Show of hands. Fantastic. I was talking to an individual earlier that said, oh my gosh, there's houses behind the farm. Years ago, that was all pure farmland. It was 120 acres that was purchased by a developer. 3 acres were set aside, and it prevented the demolishing of the buildings that are currently on site. And we've grown, I'm going to say, not exponentially, because we're contained within 3 acres of land within Onalaska. We are located behind Green Coulee Bowl and Golf, if you're familiar with that. We are set right in the middle of the heart of city of Onalaska. There are so many people that have come out here and said, I never knew you guys existed. And that's one of the reasons we're here today. There's some information in the back for you to take home with you regarding the farm. We also have we're on Facebook. I do a video every Friday for chores, which entertains me and some of my friends that are on Facebook because there's always something new that's going on. So let's talk about a little bit of who's involved in the farm and volunteers and how we keep it running. And speaking of running, right now our water is frozen. So we do not have running water out from the beginning of the farm to the end of the barn. So we are currently taking buckets of water in a wheelbarrow to fill up the tanks outside for our animals. So these are one of the things that we have to kind of adjust to and shift, um, and hopefully as the uh, temperature warms up, that water will run again. So these are some of the things that nonprofits have to deal with. We do not have any paid individuals on the farm. The only individuals that would have to pay are contractors that come out and fix something, that's above our level of being able to fix at the farm. So right now, I've got chores on Friday morning. My sister has chores on Thursday morning, and we're both hoping for running water. But we'll get it done. It's our main concern for as part of the chore team or animal team. We've got chores in the morning and chores in the evening. And our main concern is to make sure that they are fed and that they are watered. So in these really bad conditions, those are the two things that we need to make sure that we are taking care of with our animals, and they are well cared for. Believe me, we have a veterinarian who volunteers a lot of her time, and also has reduced the amount of invoicing to keep our animals safe. And yeah, we got some good ones coming up here. Um, and we want to utilize all the resources that we have out at the farm, and we continue to do that. And then we've got um, a garden team, which obviously is the garden team is not working right now, but we have a beautiful garden. And in the 3 years that I've been volunteering there, has expanded enormously. We've learned to look at what plants work best out there, what is grown out there, what can be donated out there. So what do we grow out there? We grow everything from carrots and onions and broccoli and what's the tomatoes, beans, you name it. Yeah, and we used to have a whole gourd section, but that just took up too much space. And one of the things that we do have out in our garden, um, and if we have any green thumbs out there, unlike me, there's a great place. We're looking for additional volunteers. Don't put me out in the garden because I don't know the difference between a plant and a weed. And I've been told that. So that's one of the things that I would like to do more of, is to learn more about the garden. I can certainly help pick the produce. And what do we do with the produce? Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Yes. So the question was, we had a picture up here of sensory garden. Um, our sensory garden is, we want to utilize all the resources that we have. And I'm going to jump over to our Spark program, which is for memory care. And that's for early onset of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and their caregivers. And we have a program the third Monday of every month. And I do have some Spark brochures out there. In the warmer temperatures, we like to get our participants out into the garden so they can smell, touch, feel, taste what we have out there. So yes, that's one of the things that we would like to utilize, and we do in the warmer months. And I am a member, I am a volunteer of the Spark program. I do lead a number of the activities that we have there. So again, I'm just going to shift gears on some of the volunteers and the programs that we have there, and I'll get out of your way for pictures. The Spark program, like I said, is the third Monday of every month. And we utilize the farm. Right now, the education building we've got an indoor warm area covered for our participants in the Spark program. We partner with the ADRC here in La Crosse County. We are going on our 4th year with the program. Typically, it's very loosely organized because we don't want to stay very structured. We want to be able to, again, shift gears and move where the program is taking us and where our participants are taking us, just like today. So we typically will have coffee and something to eat, light snack. Participants can come and go as they please. We will usually have some type of activity to put together, or a speaker. We've got a great speaker, a great storyteller that comes out twice a year for the Spark program. And then as the temperatures warm up, we get out to the garden, we get out to the barn, we see the animals, we integrate everything that we have on the farm for that Spark program. It's very well attended. Um, People are there when they're able to show up. I know that there are other programs in the La Crosse area. Amber Joswick, who started our program at the farm, has one as well here in the La Crosse area. So there are other options out there, but it just, I'll tell you what, that program, it warms my heart. It's I think that sometimes I get more reward out of it, or just as much reward out of that program as the participants and their caregivers. It really is a wonderful program. Here's one of our beasts of burden. No, not it's a beast of burden. That would be our donkey, right? Pardon? Oh yeah, they as soon as we empty it, they Giannis and they find a spot in there, and it's like, what do I do? Do I try to dump the wheelbarrow? This is one of the things that Kathy and I struggled with, and we said, smarter than a goat today. No, that goat was smarter than us. So you go inside and get another wheelbarrow and just let him. Yep, let them sit inside. Let them sit inside. There was again, I'm going to shift gears. Where do we get our animals from? These little guys came from Blaine's Farm and Fleet, all right, in a box. And we raised them. Arwen, the goat that you just saw there, he was a 4-H donation. Got too old for showing in 4-H, so it's donated to the farm. Some come right from Craigslist. We are limited by the number of animals that we can have on the farm by the city of Onalaska. So you saw a llama up there. The chickens come and go. There right now. Two questions. One was, were you the farm that had the cat that was stolen? I don't know if any of you followed that on Facebook, but yes, we were. The cat was stolen, returned. Long story short, he is under the scrutiny of the law, and Freddie has been returned to the farm. What was the other one? And we've got some new kittens that are out there as well. Chickens right now are not laying eggs. We want them to lay some eggs, right? They don't lay enough eggs for us to donate, so typically our volunteers will be taking the eggs home with them. In the summertime, you'll see more eggs being laid, but it's less than a dozen. Less than a dozen. They lay more other things than they do eggs, and so you know what that goes with. So our garden team, we have a maintenance team. So we have grass that needs to be mowed. We need weed whacking done. We did simple maintenance projects that need to be done. We have a crew that will come in and do that. Again, people that are volunteers, minimum age is 14 years old. Everybody signs a waiver. Most of our volunteers are members. There's information on membership out there. Running to retired individuals like myself, people from all walks of life. And I'll tell you what, they've all turned into a big family of friends that work on the farm. And when you run into them at one of the stores, you know you're going to stop your shopping cart and be talking to them for a while of what is the latest thing that is going on at the farm. Here is one of the activities that we have. This is an open barn. So for 4 Saturdays in the summertime, check out our website. We have an open barn for the public to come in, bring your kids. It's free. Typically, we'll have activities for the kids, adults, we'll have coffee, we may have a food truck, and it runs from 9 until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a great way to come and see and experience the farm right up hand and firsthand, and feed the animals. And like I said, they're well fed. This, what you're seeing up there right now, this is another one of our fundraisers. And again, it's not really super profitable, but it's more or less to have the kids ages 7 to 10. There are 5 sessions for in the summertime. It's called summer camp, meets from 8 to noon, and the kids get to experience the farm. And we will typically bring in a certified teacher um, to lead this program, and they experience science projects and are feeding the animals and talk about how the animals are raised and what their lifespan is like and what it's like for them to live on the farm. And I'll tell you what, on Friday mornings when I'm there, the farm turns into a zoo. Those kids are wild, and they are the happiest kids in the world to be out there on a Friday morning. That's their free day, which is a lot of fun. Um, they do not. They bring their lunches in a little brown bag or in well, we used to bring them in brown bags. They have serious backpacks, right? And they put them all in cubby holes. And no, they are dropped off in the morning or at night or in the afternoon. They're picked up as well. And there are a number of kids that are right in the neighborhood that actually ride their bikes, almost unheard of these days, ride their bikes to the class. And so if it's all, weather dependent, a lot of our activities are weather dependent, which is nice. We do have the education building, which is now covered. The education building years and years ago used to be a dirt floor, and that's where the animals were kept. So again, over the 25 years that we've been there, we are evolving. The doors are open for other nonprofit groups. We have Aptive that comes in, Project Live, Chalita, the Catholic Services, the Spark program. So that we want to open our farm to other groups within the community as well. And if you have any questions about that, there's information, then you can contact Sherry Collis. We have a board of directors, we have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and again, these are all volunteers. None of them, again, none of them are paid. And they are some of the people that are almost out there 24/7. I can tell you that about Sherry Collis. Sir. Okay. We have a question on the floor. Do we have a family that lives there so that there's somebody that's there 24 hours a day? No, we do not. The individual that used to own the land here lives across the street, and we have a presence on the farm every day, twice a day, sometimes even more than that. Sherry, our board president, lives very close. We have another volunteer, Naomi Moeller, who lives just up the road. A couple weeks ago, I was at the farm. I was working with my 14-year-old neighbor who was working on a project for her honors class, and it was about the farm. I took her home. We didn't quite finish chores, and I took her home because she's got another job. I came back, finished up the chores. Somebody would happen to be a family walking by and said, one of your kittens just got hit by a car. And the first thing I did was look for the cat, look for where are you, and eventually he came limping out. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. Brought him inside, saw that his leg was swelling up, texted Naomi and Sherry. They were there within 5 minutes. We're coming. They took him up to Winona, up to the vet. We just got Jimmy back. He had broken bones in his foot, and they had him at the vet for probably 3-4 weeks. So again, as far as getting a hold of somebody, we all have each other's numbers, and if there is something amiss, we also do have security cameras that are on the farm that are monitored, which is how we got a picture of the gentleman that stole our little Freddie, and we got Freddie back. Yeah, typically there's somebody there quite often. It doesn't go without notice. I stop in during the week when I call it my happy place. This is where I go. I'm new to this area, relatively new. I don't know what I would have done without Clearwater Farm. Kathy and I just happened to go out there one day to say, hey, what is this farm all about? Little did we know, we were like, yes, we're going to sign up. But little did we know what we were getting ourselves into. um, and when I speak about that, it's a learning process, for us. City girl, um, had some exposure to farms living in Green Bay, but nothing like this at all. And Kathy is our leader for our Taste of Summer, which is our largest fundraiser that takes place in September. So for all of the adults in the room, this is an adult um, fundraiser. So it's 21 and over. Your tickets include food, entertainment, um, drinks, tasting of wine and beer, and as well as a silent auction. And that's where the silent auction comes in. We rely on donations from our partners in the community, uh, and sometimes our friends that are very creative. And I don't know if there was a blanket that was showing up there. I'm like, hey, that blanket is in my bedroom. And I don't know if the blankets are still out around in in the entryway. Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful blankets that are out there. So we just got an email on our this morning from Sherry saying, hey guys, it's time to start thinking about Taste of Summer and organizing for the September event. So it does take a lot of volunteers. And when I talk about volunteers, so we've got our volunteers that are the chore team, the animal team, the maintenance team, but then it expands to these special events. The open barn probably takes 30 people to organize that for a number of hours and get things set up and take down and get ready. Also, for the Taste of Summer, we've got a board member who attended one of the Minnesota colleges. Don't ask me which one it is, but he is a fraternity member, and he goes out and brings in 30 fraternity brothers that are currently going to school. They come out, they do all the heavy lifting for Taste of Summer. They bring everything in, they take it all down, and that's their community service. And speaking of community service, we also have groups that come in. I was telling Heather earlier that we do have community service folks that come in, some for their hours for high school, others that may have had some misdemeanor offenders that will come in. And I'll tell you what, Sherry puts them to work. It's Saturday morning. Shovel, shovel, shovel. And speaking of which, everything gets composted at our farm. So, everything's organic. So we've got piles and piles of compost that gets turned. We've got Greg and Kathy, who are our new members from the community, who are retired, and we said, hey, how can we help? And help, oh my gosh, they have been integral in a lot of changes that have gone out there. So Greg is out there rotating that compost pile. We'll use that compost pile in the garden. You've seen pictures up here of the farm with the flowers, and all of that is done with the compost. It's so it's and if members are interested, and we do have members that will take a feed bag, take a shovel, put it into the feed bag, take it home with them, use it on their own gardens as well. So there are advantages to being a member of the farm, coming out there and experiencing what we have to offer. Here, we've got some kids that we have two big cleanup days during the year. Typically, it's Ultra and Excel. And I understand from one of the Ultra employees that for their volunteer day to sign up, Clearwater Farm is the first one to fill up. So we've got 15 to 16, maybe 20 people that'll come out from Ultra, and they will spend 3 hours out there, and it goes from one end of the farm to the other. We do that in the spring, and we do it in the fall. And they get so involved, smiles on their faces, and it's a great place to come out and visit. We encourage people to come out and visit, see what we're all about. Right now, it's kind of cold. But in the spring and in the summer, again, we have other activities that go on out there. You're welcome to give us a call at any point in time and say, hey, we'd like to come out and visit, or I've got a group of people that would like to come out and visit. How can we arrange that? We have scouts that come out. I had some um, Girl Scouts that came out, a group of 5 or 6 of them. It was like herding cats, but they earned their animal badge that day. Um, and it's been a while, but it was so much fun. So we have activities like that. A lot of the outbuildings that we have out there are Eagle Scout projects. We just had a new pergola put in. I think that came up with the guys standing around. That was just done in September. So that's been added to our garden as another place where we can set up, sit down, have a cup of coffee. If you want to have a picnic out there, what a great place to come out and have a picnic with your family, see the animals, experience what we have out there. We have a wetland area that just recently went up, and that was a grant, a donation. And it is a wetland area, so we're expanding that. We have bees that we just recently brought in. We are making our own honey. Sherry can probably talk a lot more about that. And I know that Kathy had expressed interest in potentially being part of that bee program. We have 2 people that handle the bees. And do we have any bee people out there that are raising bees or no? It's a process. And if you lose the queen, you've got to start all over again. So we've been fortunate so far being able to raise these bees and make them part of our open barn. And for the kids that are coming to summer camp, it's been a very good experience for them as well. And these little guys here, you can see these are our little ponies. Little ponies turn into big ponies, and they're round. So when we come to do chores at night, they bring the ponies in. The 2 little guys that you saw there, Prince and Chip, Prince and Chip. We bring them inside because if we did not bring them inside, they would eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. We do have 3 fields in the summertime that we rotate. So we will make sure that they've got fresh grass to eat. But people that come and visit are more than welcome to feed the animals. On Fridays, I will bring a couple bags of carrots because I know we're gonna in the summertime we're gonna get visitors, and they're like, "Can we feed the animals?" And the first time was I said, "Well, sure." Well, we didn't bring anything, and that's when I started bringing out carrots on Friday. So the kids love to feed the animals, and Chip and Prince, they're kind of our bullies. You know, they'll push everybody else out of the way. Um, and then, of course, we've got people that love to come out and see the animals, but not so much the chickens. Um, Chickens can be a little aggressive. Um, and so I think there's this either I love chickens or I dislike chickens or I'm going to tolerate chickens. Um, so again, the, it's fun to come out and see what we have to offer here. Again, we've got a Christmas tree sale with wreaths as well as part of our fundraiser. 2 years ago, we couldn't sell a Christmas tree because we couldn't get a Christmas tree. And I think that this year we did not sell all of our Christmas trees. I think part of that is, that the year before we didn't sell any Christmas trees, and I think COVID. And I'll tell you what, I'm one of those people. I experiencing COVID in the hospital. I did not purchase a Christmas tree. I have a fake Christmas tree now, so I know there are a number of people that are going with the fake Christmas trees. But fear not, these Christmas trees are not going to waste. So when I talk about shifting gears, I'll give you just a recent experience. I was leading a Spark program, had the windows open. We had a number of new individuals that hadn't been to Spark before and talking about the animals. And I could see it in, they saw the animals when they first came in, and I knew that they wanted to get out and see the animals. So I was talking about how we operate when we are doing our Spark program, I said, we'll get out to see the animals in a little, afterwards. Um, I look out the window and I said, I see Frosty walking by. He's one of our big donkeys. And I said, that's not supposed to happen. They had left the gate open and they saw all those Christmas trees. And boy, they went to town on the Christmas trees. And you know what? I had to laugh. I knew that they weren't going anywhere from previous experience. But the first time an animal gets loose on you, you freak. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be running after this goat until the cows come home. No pun intended. But they get out and they're like, okay, I'm free. What do I do now? So they don't go very far, but with the Christmas trees, thankfully, with the Christmas trees, we will throw the Christmas trees over and they will eat those, and eventually we will cut them up, burn them, and have a big bonfire at some point in time. So it's good for the members to get out there. One of the Eagle projects that we have is a gigantic fire pit, which is really nice to have for the members and for the community coming in, roasting marshmallows, and just that smell of burning fire and selling Christmas trees and hot cocoa. Also, we have adult programs and we have programs for kids. We have the Spooktacular, which is for the kids. Kids can dress up. We have a Halloween contest for best dressed costume. It's judged. We have games that are going on. Trick or treat, and there's candy involved, of course. What kid's going to come to a Halloween thing without candy? So it really is a good time. And we want all ages, all individuals. Just recently, we had the garden paved, so it's wheelchair accessible, it's walker accessible. It took up a bit of garden space, but you know what? It offers more to our individuals that are able to come out to the farm. I know I've gone over a little the time here. I could continue to speak about this for probably at least 2 hours from my experiences there. I can't be more proud of being a member of Clearwater and keeping it going. Our mission is to keep it going and growing for the community, for all of you, all of the members. I encourage you to come out and see what we're about. I mean, what my personal experiences and the pictures up here can give you a feel for it, but until you experience it yourself, or even if you've come from a farm, how much joy animals can bring you, and just how wonderful it is out there. And I'm going to open it up to questions. There are the open barn days, and you can check that out on our website. If you want to give us a call, I typically encourage people to give us a call and say, hey, I'm coming out to the farm. We will have individuals just go. If the gates are open, people will come down. If there's somebody on the farm doing chores like myself or Kathy, we'll say, hey, come out and say, do you have any questions about the farm at all? So if you come and you just want to see what's going on, nobody's going to stop you from coming in. We encourage, yeah, typically the gate has to be open. And we're not going to stop you from coming in. We want you to come in and ask questions. And you can email us on our website as well, too, and ask any types of questions and come out and visit. Excess produce that we have from the garden goes to the food pantry in Alaska. We have never been in a position where we've had enough to sell to individuals. So it typically gets donated. Yes. Okay. The first question was, what is our budget and do we break even? I am not the treasurer. I don't have access to those numbers. I did ask when I had my neighbor come out, that 14-year-old that was doing her honors project. We looked at some of the numbers just to feed the animals alone, and that was $5,000 just to feed the animals with the grain and the hay. We do not till any of the fields, so we purchase the straw and the hay. hay for the feed and the straw for the bedding, and then there's grain. And then there's the cost for the veterinarians, which again, we do, um, that can get costly depending on what is the need of the animal. If you wanted to get that information, you can reach out to Sherry Collis, and that is on our website, clearwaterfarm.org. And again, I just want to tell you that on the table out there, there's information on our Spark program membership and magnets for your beer fridge that you have out in the garage. Mine is a soda fridge, and again, please reference that. And then the question was, is there a need for any items that we have that would help the farm? So you're looking like at shovels, rakes, those types of things? Is that where you're going? Okay. Uh, yeah, we do have an Amazon wish list, and you'll find that on our website. And if there's anything in particular, again, you can reach out to our email address. I'm sure that Jess, our garden person, would be able to answer the seeds. I know that we do sometimes do a seed exchange. We tried that. We were not as successful as we would like to have been, but that doesn't mean that we can't try it again. So thank you for that question. Anything else that you'd like to add, my wonderful sister that got me involved in this?
I'm her much younger sister. Anyway, just that it takes a lot to run the farm. It takes a lot of volunteers, and yes, it does take donations, and we are also funded by our membership fees. And our next biggest project that we're hoping to do is not a barn restoration, but we have a big pole building that we would like to restore so we could have another indoor venue. We would like to have indoor bathrooms so we can be even more accessible for more people. Right now we have a little blue outhouse that's not always great, especially when you're doing winter chores at night. So we're hoping within the next year or two we'll raise enough funds and have enough donations. Taste of Summer is our biggest fundraiser that we do have. So I'm hoping that we'll raise a lot of funds this summer, and we'll see that pole building become a reality, have it more as an indoor space where we can use it for indoor events too, to welcome more people. Do we have roosters? We got a couple roosters. We try not to.
No. All of the goats, llamas, chickens, or
All the barn animals.
all the barn animals had been neutered or spayed.
Yes. Yep, no babies.
No.
We got enough shenanigans to deal with.
Yeah. Question? Yes, do we have a phone number? I know that these are videotaped. We can get you a phone number for, and I believe there is a phone number on the membership. Do you have a membership? There's nothing in there? Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, there should be a phone number. Contact us on the website. I did go through the website, and there is a phone number for us, for you to contact directly. The question is, we've got 3 fields that we rotate in the summertime for the animals. Is it large enough for us to be able to grow grains and hay in those fields? And I am not a farmer. I'm not certified really in that area, but I certainly am going to guess that based on the 3 acres that we have available for the entire farm, that our limits are so small for that type of activity that we rely on those fields on a rotational basis in the summertime to reduce our costs for the hay that we have delivered there. And rotating is probably our best way to, excuse me, feed the animals in the summertime. Number one, I don't know that we would have the volunteers for it, the expertise for it, the machinery to do it. which is probably why we are not doing it today. That's my guess based on what I know about the farm. I want to thank you all for being here, and coming through and looking at our slideshow and discovering more about Clearwater Farm. I have a very good visual memory. So I hope to see you out at the farm, at some of our open barn events. Bring your kids, your grandkids, tell your kids about it. It is just a wonderful place to be. So thank you so much.